What if everything you've been taught about wealth is a lie, a carefully constructed illusion? For centuries, ancient wisdom has held keys to understanding true prosperity, keys that modern financial systems have conveniently misplaced, or perhaps deliberately hidden. Today, we unlock this forbidden knowledge. We expose the harsh truths about your financial mind, the illusions that keep you trapped, and the path to genuine economic self-awareness. You must know this before the system further tightens its grip. Plato, in his timeless allegory of the cave, described prisoners chained in darkness, mistaking flickering shadows on a wall for reality. Are we, in our sophisticated modern world, any different when we relentlessly chase the ephemeral shadows of contemporary wealth? The status symbols meticulously marketed to us. The gleaming luxury car, the sprawling mansion in an exclusive neighborhood, the ever-increasing yet ultimately abstract numbers in a digital bank account. We are conditioned to believe these are the substance of a good life, the very definition of success. But what if they are merely phantoms, distractions from a deeper, more meaningful existence? The Stoics, philosophers renowned for their practical wisdom and resilience, warned us centuries ago about this very trap. They spoke of preferred indifference, things like money, health, reputation, even life itself. These are preferred because they are generally helpful for living a functional life, but they are indifferent because they possess no inherent moral good or evil. True good, the Stoics argued, lies only in our virtue, our reasoned choice, our inner state of being. Yet modern society has inverted this wisdom. We are taught to worship these indifferents, to sacrifice our peace of mind, our time, even our ethics, in their pursuit. This inversion is no accident. The system, the complex machinery of modern commerce and finance, thrives on this grand illusion. It fuels the hedonic treadmill, that psychological phenomenon where humans quickly return to a relatively stable level of happiness despite major positive or negative life changes. You get a raise, you celebrate, you upgrade your lifestyle. You buy a bigger house, a faster car, the latest gadgets. The initial thrill, the dopamine hit, is undeniable, but it fades astonishingly quickly. And then you're back where you started emotionally, only now your baseline expenses are higher and the hunger for more returns, often with greater intensity. This isn't a flaw in human nature that the system merely observes. It's a feature it actively exploits. It's engineered. Consider the relentless barrage of advertisements. They don't just sell products, they sell aspirations, insecurities, and the promise of transformation. They whisper and often scream, "You are not enough as you are. Buy this to be happy. Earn this to be worthy. Acquire this to be admired." It's a perpetual cycle of manufactured desire, a carefully cultivated dissatisfaction designed to keep you consuming, keep you indebted, keep you perpetually striving for the next fleeting shadow. This constant chase keeps you distracted from questioning the fundamental rules of the game, from understanding the actual levers of financial control, and from cultivating inner peace, which is, ironically, the one state no product can ever truly deliver. Do you ever feel that gnawing emptiness, that subtle dissatisfaction, even after achieving a significant financial milestone or acquiring a long-desired possession? That is the echo of Plato's cave reverberating in your soul. That is the system whispering, "You're close, but not quite there. You need more shadows, bigger shadows." This isn't freedom. It's a gilded cage, its bars polished by marketing departments, its foundations laid by a culture that tragically mistakes accumulation for achievement and net worth for self-worth. The forbidden knowledge here, the truth that crumbles this illusion, is startlingly simple yet profoundly transformative. True wealth, as the ancients understood it, isn't primarily about the quantity of your possessions, but the quality of your desires. It's about achieving a state of inner contentment, of freedom from insatiable desire, freedom from the tyranny of external validation. It's about aligning your financial life with your deepest, most authentic internal values, not the glittering, hollow mirages projected by society. The system doesn't want you to realize this fundamental truth because a content person, a person who has defined enough for themselves, is a terrible consumer. They are a threat to the perpetual growth model that feeds on our engineered discontent. Think about the obsession with daily stock market fluctuations. For many, this becomes the only indicator of their financial well-being, a source of constant anxiety or fleeting euphoria. Or consider the immense pressure to maintain a certain lifestyle, often driven by fear of judgment or the desire to project an image of success, even if it means living paycheck to paycheck, perpetually stressed. The psychological impact of relentlessly comparing our curated online lives to others, equally curated highlight reels, is devastating, fostering envy and inadequacy. These are all manifestations of chasing shadows. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher who was, ironically, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, wrote extensively on the nature of true freedom. He argued with piercing clarity, "No man is free who is a slave to the flesh, and by logical extension, no one is truly free who is a slave to the impulses and desires that lead to unmanageable, soul-crushing debt." The ancient Stoic pursuit of apatheia, a state of mind free from disturbing passions and irrational emotional disturbances, directly counters the modern financial world's sophisticated exploitation of our deepest anxieties and desires to push us further into the embrace of debt. We live in an era where debt is not just normalized, it's often actively encouraged, even glamorized, as an unavoidable, even necessary pathway to success and the good life. Mortgages that stretch for decades, student loans that burden young people before they even earn their first significant paycheck, car loans that lock us into depreciating assets, and the ever-present seductive lure of credit cards offering instant gratification. But how much of this is truly good debt, strategically employed to acquire appreciating assets or vital skills? And how much is a carefully laid trap, a silken snare that slowly tightens its grip? The system, the financial institutions, profit immensely from your interest payments. It is their lifeblood. They prey on your impatience, your understandable human desire for instant gratification. They dangle easy credit, low monthly payments, and the illusion of affordability. Your credit score, a tool supposedly designed for your benefit and to assess your trustworthiness, can morph into a digital leash. It dictates your choices, limits your freedom of movement, influences where you can live, what you can drive, and even sometimes where you can work. The stress associated with maintaining a good score and the fear of damaging it can become an immense psychological burden. A direct assault on the Stoic ideal of tranquility and rational composure. That suffocating feeling when the bills pile up, that knot of anxiety in your stomach as interest accrues, that is not just financial stress, it's a spiritual burden. It's the tangible weight of chains you may have unknowingly, or perhaps under duress, helped to forge. The constant worry over fluctuating interest rates, the dread of a missed payment, the shame some feel when admitting their debt load. This is the antithesis of the serene, empowered mind the ancient philosophers advocated. They want you stressed. A stressed mind makes poor, impulsive decisions. A stressed mind is more likely to reach for the quick fix of more credit, digging the hole deeper. The forbidden knowledge here, the uncomfortable truth they don't want plastered on billboards, is that many forms of consumer debt are shackles disguised as opportunities. They are instruments of control, not genuine empowerment. The system doesn't want you to deeply question the absolute necessity of every loan. It doesn't want you to practice disciplined budgeting, to prioritize saving, to embrace the profound long-term power of delayed gratification. Why? Because a population that is financially disciplined lives within its means and is inherently wary of unnecessary debt is far, far less profitable. They don't want you to fully comprehend the true cost of debt, not just the staggering amounts of interest paid over years, but the cost to your peace of mind, your precious time spent working to service debt rather than pursuing your passions, and your very freedom to make life choices unencumbered by financial obligations. Consider the psychology of minimum payments, designed to keep you in debt for the maximum possible time, maximizing the lender's profit. Think about the illusion of 0% APR offers, which often come with hidden fees or trigger exorbitant interest rates if the balance isn't cleared within a very specific, often unrealistic time frame. Ponder the devastating long-term impact of compound interest working against you in the form of credit card debt versus the incredible wealth-building power it has when it works for you through savings and investments. This isn't just about numbers. It's about power dynamics. Socrates, the gadfly of Athens, famously urged us to know thyself. This simple-sounding injunction is perhaps one of the most challenging and vital tasks in human existence. But how can we truly know ourselves, our authentic desires, our intrinsic worth, when modern society constantly bombards us with prepackaged, externally imposed scorecards of success? Your job title, the number of zeros in your annual income, the size and location of your house, the brand of your car, the prestige of your degree, the number of followers you have online. These become the metrics by which we are judged, and tragically, by which we often judge ourselves. Epicurus, another ancient philosopher often grossly misunderstood, as a hedonist actually taught that the highest pleasure, the ultimate aim of life comes from ataraxia, a profound state of tranquility, serenity, and freedom from fear, and aponia, the absence of bodily pain. He advocated for simple pleasures, the joy of deep friendships, the pursuit of knowledge, and a life lived free from the gnawing anxiety of public opinion and the relentless pursuit of fleeting artificial desires. His vision of the good life was remarkably independent of material excess. Contrast this with the modern financial landscape. The Joneses we try to keep up with are no longer just our next-door neighbors. Thanks to the hyper-connectivity of social media, the Joneses are now global, omnipresent, and relentlessly showcasing their curated highlight reels. We are constantly exposed to filtered images of others' apparent financial triumphs, their exotic vacations, their luxury purchases, their seemingly perfect lives. This creates a relentless, often subconscious pressure to compare, to compete, to acquire not for genuine utility or personal joy, but for external validation, for the fleeting approval of others, or simply to quell the rising tide of envy and inadequacy. In this environment, your self-worth can become dangerously, almost inextricably, entangled with your net worth. This is a profound spiritual sickness, a deep misattribution of value. And the financial system, along with its marketing and media arms, is all too happy to offer remedies for this self-inflicted wound. Remedies that invariably involve more consumption, more services, more ways to signal status, more ways to fall deeper into the illusion that what you have defines who you are. That pang of envy when you scroll through Instagram and see someone else's lavish lifestyle. That subtle but corrosive shame you might feel when you perceive yourself as not measuring up financially to your peers or societal expectations. These are potent, emotional vulnerabilities. And the system, consciously or unconsciously, exploits them masterfully. It wants you to believe deep down that your value as a human being is directly proportional to your financial statement. It's a devastating lie, a carefully constructed myth designed to keep you on the hamster wheel, striving for a version of success that may not even be your own, a version that often leaves you feeling empty even when you achieve it. The forbidden knowledge here, the truth they desperately don't want you to internalize, is that your inherent worth as a human being is absolute, intrinsic, and unconditional. It existed before your first paycheck, before your first investment, and it will exist long after your last. It is not contingent on the car you drive, the house you own, or the balance in your bank account. Seeking validation through wealth is like drinking salt water to quench thirst. It only makes you thirstier. The ancient philosophers, from the Stoics to the Epicureans to the Cynics, knew this. They taught that true richness comes from a well-cultivated mind, from strength of character, from meaningful relationships, from a deep understanding of what truly constitutes a good and flourishing life. And this understanding invariably points far beyond the mere accumulation of material possessions. The system fears this profound self-awareness, this internal locus of validation. Why? Because a person secure in their intrinsic worth, a person who has defined their own metrics for a successful life, is far less susceptible to its manipulative tactics, its appeals to vanity, its promises of happiness through consumption. They are harder to control, harder to predict, and ultimately less profitable in the conventional sense. To know thyself in the financial realm means understanding your true needs versus your manufactured wants, and having the courage to live in alignment with that understanding, regardless of external pressures. It means defining enough and finding contentment there, a concept utterly alien to a system built on more. The ancient wisdom, the forbidden knowledge we've touched upon today, isn't about rejecting money wholesale or retreating from the complexities of the modern world into asceticism. It's far more nuanced, far more empowering. It's about seeing through the pervasive illusions, reclaiming your financial mind from the external forces that seek to control it, and fundamentally understanding that true wealth is, at its core, a state of being, not just a state of having. It's about cultivating economic self-awareness. It's about bravely asking the hard, uncomfortable questions. What is money truly for in my life? What is my authentic definition of wealth beyond the societal script? Am I a conscious master of my money, using it as a tool to build a life of purpose and meaning, or have I unknowingly become its servant, chasing its dictates at the expense of my peace and well-being? The journey to unravel these deeply ingrained financial deceptions is ongoing. It is not a single revelation, but a continuous process of questioning, learning, and course-correcting. The shadows of the cave are pervasive, and the system that perpetuates them is deeply entrenched, its tendrils reaching into nearly every aspect of our lives. But the first step, the most powerful and transformative step, is always awareness. It's recognizing the game for what it is. It's seeing the strings of the puppet master. If these truths resonate with you, if you feel a stirring within, a call to look beyond the glittering veil of modern finance, then your journey of financial awakening, of economic self-discovery, has truly begun. This is not the end, but a significant beginning. Continue to question everything. Continue to seek out the timeless wisdom that liberates the mind and enriches the soul, not just the bank account. The path to true financial clarity, to genuine economic freedom, is indeed paved with such uncomfortable yet ultimately liberating truths. If you find yourself ready, even eager, to explore more of this forbidden knowledge, to further unmask the sophisticated deceptions of modern finance and truly empower your financial mind, then ensure you are subscribed to continue this journey with us. And perhaps consider sharing this understanding, this spark of awareness, with others you know who may still be lost in the shadows, chasing echoes. The light of ancient wisdom, though often obscured, is there for all who possess the courage to seek it, to claim it, and to live by it.